Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, today I'm going to show you how prophecy is not just contained in the Bible. Prophecy is also has been written and passed down in other books, especially in many of these other esoteric books that the churches have tried to keep you out of. So, the Bible has a lot of prophecy, but there's also a lot of prophecy that is missing. And we're going to be getting into this book this evening. There's the cover right there. And this is the title, The Light of Egypt, or The Science of the Soul and the Stars, in two parts. Okay, this one's, I'm going to say, the first edition from 1889. Okay, now, as we read, you're going to see how, things started so it can seem like a spiritual, you know, origin, and then kind of came down to the physical, and how now we are at this certain, huge, huge conjunction of time, and that you're seeing prophecies that they're talking about in this book being fulfilled today, being fulfilled with the brethren who have been brothers and sisters who have been awakened here at this time, and that are now searching for the Most High, that are now being awakened and having their eyes open to so many different things. And when you go back to the scriptures, you think about the different prophecies written there, you're going to see how these things are playing out even here in this book. We're going to be awakened in the land of our captivities. We're definitely going to be, there's going to be a famine of the word, which is what has been happening. The oppressed, is going to arise at the end. The last will be first and the first will be last. You're going to see those kinds of concepts talked about right here in this book here. So start here at the paragraph where it says, at this stage of our subject, the student will doubtless ask, if human suffering is not the result of previous karma, what is the real cause of so much misery in the world? To this we reply, human suffering is the result of innumerable laws, which in their action and reaction produce discord at certain intervals in the scale of human development. For all practical purposes, they may be classed under two general heads as primary and secondary. The primary cause is that of racial evolution. Each round and each race of the round requires different external conditions in order to evolve its chief attributes. For each round and race become the special means by which a certain one of the soul's attributes is rounded out, as it is termed. Let us illustrate. The first or primal race were those of the Golden Age. They were a purely ethereal race of beings and cannot be strictly classified with what we know of humanity, nor can they be said to have been really incarnated in gross matter at all. For this reason, their penetrative power was very small, hence, though highly spiritual. So they were correspondingly simple. They lived an ideal life amid semi spiritual surroundings. The second race, that of the Silver Age, penetrated deeper into matter than their forefathers, and their bodies consequently became more dense. Toward the termination of this race and the beginning of the Third or Copper Age, the equator of our racial arc was reached, okay, and the descending scale. Here it was that the first murmurings of a mental storm began to manifest themselves. Immigrations and partings took place between what had previously been a united people, and consequently separate national interests began to evolve. It seems like we're going from a golden age, and every age is getting worse and worse. It's like instead of evolving, the people seem to be devolving. Okay. And when you look at the movies, they make it seem like it's the opposite. Like when you look at old biblical movies, it's like people were running around, with sandals and robes, and it was like it was backwards. They didn't have the technology, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. But as you start to do research, you start to look at the things that they were building. It seemed it was a total opposite. It seemed as if they were more technologically advanced in the past, and that we've devolved and gotten less and less evolved as time has gone on. Okay, so let's see here. When our Earth reaches the equinoctial points of the year, storms and tempests abound upon a higher plane. It is the same with the progress of man around the cycle. With the copper race, a still further descent took place, and a still greater increase of self interest was evolved. From the national, okay, was evolved that of the family. Now you're going to see kind of what we've been going through and what we've been experiencing recently. It says, kings ascended thrones, and sacerdotal systems were formulated. The strong began to assert their greater force, and the weak gradually sank into subjection. A still further descent, and we come to the fourth race, the bottom rung and the cyclical ladder, and fittingly known as the Iron Age. This was the turning point of these seven races, wherein the soul attains its greatest penetrating power. Spirit can descend no lower. Kings and their priestly counselors became true despots, and the masses, the helpless and oppressed. Okay. Next comes the higher evolution. So, right then you think of the kings of Spain, the kings, of these Gentile nations, their priests, how they, we talked about that in the Dogs of the Conquest, how they were setting up to go worldwide or come over to the new world, to the fourth part, and they're going to subject the people into slavery. They were going to, pretty much go and exploit the resources, exploit the land, exploit the people. That seems to be like the bottom, okay, of this devolving of society, and that's what we've been going through for the last few hundred years. And see, these are prophecies that the vast majority of the world are totally oblivious to. See, they're still thinking of the stuff that the church has given them, the left behind things, the things as if we've now reached this pinnacle of society, how it's, evolved through all these years, but it's been doing just the opposite. It's been getting, less and less spiritual, more and more carnal. It started out in a whole like a spiritual, ethereal type of place, and it's gotten worse and worse. It's gotten more carnal. Now you got kings and priests, these despots that were taking over the world, making it seem as if we've made it, making it seem as if nothing's going to get better. This is the best that it's going to be, and it's the best it's ever been. It's never been as great as it is today. That's what people think of. Think of it like, oh, the technology that we have now is just no one's ever had anything like that before. All the while, there are buildings and pyramids that we can't even reproduce today that were built thousands of years ago. Just like when the Spaniards came to the fourth part, they got a chance to come over here to the, as they call them, the Americas, and they saw that these lands were so much more advanced than anything they had seen before. Because these Gentiles had never been exposed to this and never seen these places before. So it just shows you right here in this book how it went from a high class society, and it's been devolving ever since. But the churches and the society has made it seem as if back then things were, way more backwards, way less evolved, and that we've been evolving this whole time. And this book is showing you that that is not the case whatsoever. Showing you again that there's no way that these nations, these other nations, these Gentiles, these priests of Mahan, could actually have prophecy correct, because even their whole premise is backwards. Absolutely everything in this whole society is absolutely backwards. So again, kings and their priestly counselors became true despots, and the masses, okay, the helpless and oppressed. Next comes a higher evolution. The fifth race, beginning at the end of the fourth, reaches up to the equinoctial line of the mental arc and the ascending scale, and consequently another stormy period commences. All is strife and turmoil. It is the struggle of the oppressed against the oppressor. Now, that's what you're seeing going on right now. You're seeing, the people trying to pull themselves up from this basement, society. It is now, a struggle between the oppressed and the oppressor. You see, most people are still wanting to go back to the way things were. They want to go back to their normal. They want to go back to their oppressor's normal. But you're having a total conflict now between the ones who've been oppressed, who do not want to go back to that, who refuse to go back to that, oppressor's normal, oppressor on top, the oppressed at the bottom, the oppressed just listening to all the lies and just accepting them all anymore. That's all done. That's not happening anymore. You had your 70 shepherds of Enoch time. You've had your 400 years of ruling and reigning. You've had your time of your kings, and priestly counselors, becoming despots all over the world. So this is showing you that there's that struggle, that time period is going on right now. And see, this is why prophecy from the other nations is never going to make any sense, because they're not telling you that. They're not telling you that the time of the kings and these priests are coming to an end. They want you to believe that, hey, they're going to continue. These kings and priests are going to be the kings and priests in heaven, because they are the true masters, and they're the only ones that really know the way to the Most High. And we know that that is absolutely not true. So you're seeing this period right now, this stormy period has commenced, and it's already started. So again, the fifth race, beginning at the end of the fourth, reaches up to the equinoctial line of the mental arc and the ascending scale, and consequently another stormy period commences. All is strife and turmoil. It is a struggle of the oppressed against the oppressor. Now, you're seeing, the strife that's even coming with our nation, the strife and turmoil that's come with our nation. This is all part, of the process, because there are even people in our nation that have made pacts with the oppressor. And if they've made a pact with the oppressor, they're going to be against the oppressed. They're going to be against the new system. They're going to be against the system that the Most High is coming to implement. So the turmoil and the strife and everything else, that is all part, that is all part of this. That is all part of the, the wringing out process, the separating of the sheep and the goats. Many of the sheep have made pacts with the goats. So that's the same thing that's going on right now. So like I said, this is prophecy showing you, this is a prophecy that's being fulfilled that you can easily see. And there's going to be more you're going to see on the next page. It's pretty amazing. So like I said, when you have the scriptures and you have other books and you start to bring all this information together, you can see our story in all of these different books. You're not just relegated to one book. Our story is everywhere. Most people would never think to look in this kind of a book and actually see prophecy being fulfilled in this book. But when the Most High is giving you the pieces, you can put it together anywhere and everywhere that the Spirit leads you. So again, it is a struggle of the oppressed against the oppressor. It is not the gentle mental storm of the silver equinox, because a spiritual period of light and preceded that era. But it is the storm of war and bloodshed, of a fierce democracy battling for the rights, divine of man against usurped authority. So you see that right now? This is a storm of war and bloodshed. Do you not hear about the things that are going on right now over in Russia? Today you heard about how Vladimir Putin recognized some of these areas, recognized them as being independent areas in the Ukraine. And all of a sudden now President Biden is talking about, implementing sanctions on Russia. They are at a point of no return, because that's the time period that we are in. It is a turmoil and strife between the oppressed and the oppressor. The Most High is calling all of these nations, to the carpet, calling them all to these areas right here. He's going to, he's going to plead for his people against these armies. And that's what's going on right now. So again, but it is the storm of war and bloodshed, of a fierce democracy, battling for the rights, okay, divine of man against usurped authority. See, these kings and these priests have usurped authority. Most High gave them their time. If you go back to 70 shepherds of Enoch, he gave them their time, but he gave them their instructions. He told them, you can kill these ones that I have, told you to kill, but don't kill the other ones. And these guys have usurped authority and killed anyone all the ones that they wanted to. But the Most High has been keeping, excuse me, a record of all the people that they've killed, all of our brethren they've killed that were not supposed to be killed. They've usurped authority. They did not follow the authority of the Most High. They set up their churches. They set up the priesthood of Mahan. They cut us off from our power. They gave us a fake, false religion that kept us, separated from our power. And they're still doing the same things even till today. Even though the Most High is calling his people back, he's sending out the Holy Spirit. You still got people who are still pushing the centralized church narrative. They're still pushing you need to go to these pastors and priests, and they're the ones that are going to, teach you how to find your way to the Most High. They're making it seem as if the Holy Spirit can't do it herself. But you need these churches to be able to do that. They are usurping the authority of the Most High. They are usurping the authority of the Holy Spirit that has been sent to guide us and get us back, take us back to the Father. That's what the battle is going on. That's the battle that's going on right now. And check it out. There's even more prophecy you're going to see that is being fulfilled right now. It is thus because the iron age of oppression has preceded it, and we were the oppressed. We have been the oppressed. The power, our power is the power. He's the God of the oppressed, just like it talks about in the Bible. And that was the Iron Age. That was the age that preceded what we're seeing right now. But see, the rest of the world doesn't see it as an age of oppression. They see it as an age of prosperity. See, because they were prospering while we were going through our oppression. So therefore, they're oblivious to the prophecies that are being fulfilled today. They're oblivious to the recompense that is coming on the world for the oppression of the Israelites. All they've experienced is, all of the positive things, all of the, the dainties of life. And they've been oblivious to the oppression that has, happened to our people for them to be able to enjoy themselves during this time period. This is a prophecy that is being fulfilled right now. This is the recompense that the Most High is getting ready, to unleash on the world. And this is why the vast majority of the world is totally oblivious. They're still thinking that they're going to be able to set up businesses for the future, set their children up for the future. Because they think that we're going to continue to be oppressed. So the only reason they've been able to do all the things they've been doing is because we have been oppressed. We have been losing all of our opportunities, and they've been getting all of the opportunities that were actually for us. That's why other people from other nations can come here to this to this country, and get all of these perks, while the people who've been working here and living here the whole time cannot. That's what you're seeing going on right now. Let me read Jeremiah 30:16 again. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man shall seek it after. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Okay? Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. See, again, it says, their children also shall be as aforetime. Most High is going to make things as it was before. But see, you have to understand how things were before. See, this whole world has taught you that before, It was backwards. There wasn't no technology. People were, they were they were not advanced like we are now. Most High said, that's not the case. The Most High is going to take us back to how it was in the foretime, how we were more advanced, how we were more spiritual, how we were more connected to the spirit and the spirit world. That's how we're going to go back to how it was in the aforetime. These are the prophecies, that are being actually fulfilled right now. So again, it is thus because the Iron Age of oppression has preceded it. And that's the whole thing with the whole oppression. Jeremiah 30:16. All those ones who have oppressed thee. All those ones that have been going through that, enjoying that time of oppression. Again, Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So you got the whole world just ignoring all of this oppression because they think that, no one's ever going to have to pay for it. But that's not the case, and that's what this is telling you right here. So let's continue. We are at the present day passing through this fearful equinoctial period. The fifth race is coming to a close. And already, this is a huge part of prophecy, and already forerunners of the sixth race are among the people, aiding in the spread of glorious truth. So see, as people are trying to, stop this esoteric information, this spiritual growth, this was all prophesied. There's always going to be forerunners. And we already know we can already see the forerunners are here, bringing this glorious truth to the world, bringing this light in a dark world. This is a huge part of prophecy. We were destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because in that previous, era, you had the kings and the priests, who have been destroying knowledge, destroying information, destroying books, destroying records, destroying our connection with the Most High, destroying our language. But what is it right here? The fifth race is coming to a close, and already forerunners of the sixth race are among the people, aiding in the spread of glorious truth. No wonder then that the signs of the times are so significant, and that a real interest in mental and spiritual science is rapidly reawakening within the minds of the masses. People are awakening to the fact that they've been lied to about everything. They're awakening to these spiritual and mental sciences, that there's way more out there that the church has hidden from the world. That's the prophecy that is being ignored by the world. You see how we can connect that with the Bible, with the scriptures, with the second stick. We can connect it with many different books because that's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing the Most High, showing you in different stages how we went from being ethereal, spiritual beings to be, coming down into these bodies, being oppressed, being put down under the kings and the priests, and how here at the end, the Most High is reawakening us. He's already sent forerunners to bring glorious truth. That's what's going on right now. And it's an absolutely beautiful thing to be able to see our story in many different books and from many different aspects. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who was wisdom? Who was the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.